And my name is Peter Stern. I'm from Indiana. Been in Baltimore since 1982, and I went to college in Vermont in the early 80s and got really into photography. And then I dropped out of college, didn't really pursue the photography. When I was 15, I started taking flying lessons out at the little airport out in Crawfordsville, Indiana, where I grew up. And I got about 5 or 6 hours and I ran out of money and couldn't fly anymore. Always thought that I'd find a way to fly again, but it seemed like general aviation was too expensive. And then in 2003, a friend of mine was taking hang gliding lessons out on the Eastern Shore, a little airport called RETJI Air Park, where they tow hang gliders up behind little ultralights. And I was so excited about these little ultralights, I started talking to the pilot and found out that there's all these little planes you can fly, and you technically don't even need a license to fly them if they're under a certain weight and speed, like that one there. And at the time there were 2 instructors from the Ultralight Association who were training out of that hangar down there, and I came up here and I got enough training to fly my airplane. I was flying over a salvage yard, a junkyard about 10 miles to the west. I looked down and I saw these cars and trucks all laying around there with these dirt roads in between them. And I took a couple photographs of the scene. And when I looked at the pictures that night, it occurred to me that if I got that scene arranged from a certain altitude and in a certain orientation, that I could actually sort of create a painting, like a visual painting, using those elements. The colors, the shapes, the forms, the shadows, the light. And I was really excited to go back and take another picture of that salvage yard. So I went back as soon as I could, and from that moment on, I was just fascinated with aerial photography. And as my flying progressed, I started flying further and further and going over more and more unusual countryside, like quarries and landfills and even the Pennsylvania coal region. And I just started discovering that, there was a whole tapestry of visual landscapes that I could create these paintings from. I'd say it's the feeling of transcendence because when you're flying and you're up in the air, you feel like you're above the earth in a way that you feel the only thing that's important is that experience of flying and being in the airplane. And flying is very demanding and challenging. So it challenges me to be as strong as I can, mentally and physically and spiritually, in order to be able to continue to do the photography. There's also a sense when you're up in the air and it's just calm and the air is nice, that it's just a feeling like nothing else. It's if you like motorcycles, it's like 3-dimensional motorcycle riding in the sky. Sometimes people call it a lawn chair on the edge of forever. And when it's really nice, we call it a magic carpet ride. But it's not always like that, because sometimes when I'm doing my aerial photography, it's cold, it's windy, and I'm far away from home, and it can be very challenging. But it's that challenge that excites me, that makes it really interesting for me. And some aerial photographers will pay somebody to take them up in an airplane or a helicopter to go photograph the Grand Canyon or Iceland or something like that. But to me, being able to make aerial photography using my own airplane and my own skills, my own knowledge, my own creativity, that is far more rewarding.